Mzwandile Mbeje, SABC News political editor, joins me now. Mzwai, you could see or kind of get a sense of possibly where this could be heading. If you look at, I guess, the resounding excitement, for John Steenhuisen as he went to the podium to address delegates there.
Yeah, well, I guess it's more of really a giveaway because they are waiting for the results now. And but of course, this speech, as you have correctly said, he was delivering it as the current incumbent. It's more of a political report. So he has to indicate to the Congress. So since he took over, what have been the challenges, what he has done. So that's exactly what he was doing. But of course, I think not lost on his mind is that in the next hour, so a new leader will be elected, and then he hopes to be that leader. And of course, when you see the reaction on the ground, perhaps it indicates that there's so much enthusiasm towards him. So, but it was very interesting what he had to say, especially on the speech, Griselda.
Yeah, he says it took over the Democratic Alliance where it was at a crossroads. I also mentioned what some of the successes would have been of the Democratic Alliance, I guess, in the political report. Yeah. That, of course, would sit well on the ear of delegates about what he has done during his time leading the Democratic Alliance. You know,
as I was watching the speech, and then I immediately thought of Mmusi Maimane. I said, if he were watching, I wonder what he's thinking, because that speech really took a serious swipe at Mmusi Maimane. I mean, he was describing the DA he found, the DA which has lost its identity, which did not know what it wanted to be. Did it want to be an ANC? What exactly? A DA which didn't even understand its core values. So he then attributes that kind of loss or the decline in the electoral fortunes to exactly that kind of the identity crisis that he mentioned. But also what is interesting is, without him saying much, you can see that they are really angling themselves for a possible coalition. Yeah. And then the next question, Griselda, is who actually are they going to be in coalition with?
Because the EFF is off the cards. There's nothing tangible about working with the African National Congress. So who exactly?
EFF, yes. Yeah. So it's very interesting. And because if, let's say, for argument's sake, the ANC doesn't achieve 50%, so even if it doesn't, it's probably it will be small margins. So which means I think they can always get to smaller parties, and then they form government. But from the point of view of the DA, it's really, even if they do well, their own projections currently are at 26%, but you and I know that the actual scientific approach to that is the electorate. So unfortunately, in exactly a year, we'll be able to put that to test. So you still have a long way to go. I think the DA still has a long way to go. I wonder, beyond this, how are they going to sell themselves to South Africa?
I guess we'll probably get a glimpse of that in what, if or whoever emerges at 1 o'clock, between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock when we're expecting that announcement, what that person will say their vision is in their, if I can, acceptance speech.
If then we just decide to assume that is the current incumbent, so we already have an idea of what of the kind of trajectory he will follow. But then the question is that sufficient to woo the greater number of South Africans to join this party? I mean, if you listened to Mpho Phalatse, who also is hoping to snatch this position, she basically says there's a trust deficit between the DA and South Africans. So under this current leadership, so she was basically saying, I am talking about someone who is in the party, is saying, yes, you are leading us, but you're not necessarily the right person.
In fact, she mentioned, I think, between 2016 and 2021, that the DA had lost 1.4 million votes, basically saying to delegates, I am that alternative to win back what the Democratic Alliance has lost.
Certainly, and you listen to Steenhuisen himself, he basically is ascribing that kind of loss to the previous leadership,
Yeah.
basically to Ms. Maimane. That's why I was saying, I wonder when Ms. was sitting and listening to this, when basically he's being blamed for the electoral decline. So how is he taking that? But of course, he has left, he's formed his own, so he's going to be judged on his own, because it's actually going to be a very exciting year.
Yeah.
Look at some of the people who have left the DA
Yeah.
and formed their own parties, Ms. Maimane, Hemen Mashaba,
ballot looks-
Bongani Baloyi, and even I think Abel Tau in Pretoria. So it's very interesting. So, but other than those parties that we are mentioning, so the key is what happens beyond this, because this is the official opposition. Are you still comfortable in that position, or you now want to rebrand yourself as the next government? If you are, have you done enough to then convince even the most skeptic about the vision, about your plan, about what you are selling to them?
That you can govern at national level.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Mzwandile Mbeje, SABC News political editor.